Hey, welcome to a new video. The HMS Challenger was a British naval ship converted into a scientific research vessel for an expedition commissioned by the Royal Society of London. The expedition, which lasted from 1872 to 1876, was the first global ocean survey and covered a distance of about 53,000 miles, or 69,000 kilometers. During the expedition, the crew collected a massive amount of data, including water samples, sediment samples, and other specimens of marine life. One of the most significant discoveries the HMS Challenger made was in 1875, when the crew brought up several megalodon teeth from a depth of 14,000 feet, or 4,300 meters, near Tahiti. The teeth were about 4 inches, or 10 centimeters long, and were later identified as belonging to this giant shark species. The tooth that was found, however, changed the thinking of scientists about the megalodon. They thought it was a predator in the open water, but after the discovery by the HMS Challenger, megalodons appeared to be more like great white sharks. The discovery of these specific megalodon teeth were important because it suggested that the giant shark might still be swimming in the deep ocean. Are you new to this channel? Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And before we start, also like the video. Welcome to the Sea of Cortez, home to incredibly diverse marine ecosystems, including numerous shark species. The sharks you can find here are white sharks, whale sharks, hammerhead sharks, and apparently also megalodons. In 2008, there were reports of super aggressive and incredibly large sharks ruling the sea. According to reports, the shark in question would be 39 to 59 feet, or 12 to 18 meters long, which is twice the size of the white shark. But this shark had a deep black color, large eyes, and extremely predatory nature. The locals called the creature the Black Demon. Eyewitness testimony suggested that this animal was extremely aggressive and was responsible for the mysterious death of various marine animals in the area. Given the alleged size, appearance, and behavior, some have speculated that this creature could be a megalodon. A documentary even examined the sightings and testimonies of the Black Demon and interviewed fishermen and scientists who claimed to have seen the creature. If you see the shark in this photo, you're probably wondering, who or what must have been so big to take a bite out of this shark? Some people think that the culprit might have been a megalodon. The massive bite wound on this white shark was found in the waters off the coast of New South Wales, Australia. Sharks that have been bitten in half are found often, and each time it raises even more questions. When you see this bite mark, it really makes you question yourself. The size of the bite wound has led experts to speculate that it was caused by an even larger predator. Scientists say that thanks to these finds, they can provide valuable information about the behavior of these sharks. Imagine someone's reaction when they blinked and suddenly, for a fraction of a second, saw a gigantic shark on the screen in front of them. The Atlantic Shark Institute recently reported a mysterious discovery during a research trip that had piqued interest in the shark community. They were shocked when what appeared to be a massive 50-foot or 15-meter-long megalodon showed up on their sea scanners. According to their Instagram post, the shark had appeared for a few minutes in unspecified waters. They couldn't confirm the identity of the creature, but the shape and size matched descriptions of the megalodon. The Atlantic Shark Institute emphasizes the importance of ongoing efforts to study and protect sharks in our oceans. They hope that one day they can find more evidence about the megalodon. After watching hours of footage, these researchers thought they might have captured a gigantic megalodon on camera. According to them, the megalodon is deliberately hiding behind the dive cage, and they are smarter than we thought. These researchers named the shark Submarine, and as we can see, the length of the shark is enormous. However, this wasn't the only time the shark was captured on camera. In this video, we see a gigantic shark swimming past a boat, thought to possibly be the megalodon. Scientists have studied the fossil record and analyzed the behavior of modern sharks to gain insight into the hunting strategies of the megalodon. While there's still much to learn about these creatures, scientists believe that the megalodon used a combination of hunting techniques to catch its prey. One of the most likely hunting strategies employed by the megalodon was the ambush method. This involves the shark hiding and waiting for the prey to swim past before attacking, as clearly seen in this video. Meet Snooty the lemon shark. Believe it or not, that menacing grin looks pretty terrifying for a shark. Snooty the lemon shark is a local celebrity in the diving community around the Gulf of Mexico. It's a lemon shark, a species named for the yellowish color of its skin. Divers report being swarmed by sharks in these spots, but the first one that always arrives is always Snooty. And until you decide to come to the surface again, she stays nearby. Kayaking is an adventure for many people who love water. But what would you do if you were kayaking and suddenly there's a giant shark swimming below you? It's unknown where this was filmed, but the people who were aboard the cruise ship tried to warn the man. According to experts who watched the video, a kayak would be about 4.3 meters in size, which means the giant shark was 12.8 meters in size. This is many times larger than the 5 to 6 meter average length of a great white shark. So could this possibly be a megalodon that was captured on camera here? Unfortunately, we'll never really know. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments. A man named David decided to surf alone in the ocean one day. As it turned out, however, he wasn't alone. While surfing at the Bluffs campground in California, USA, the man was filming himself with a GoPro when he happened to capture something. In fact, if we look closely, we can see a shark in the same wave as him. Fortunately, he was able to paddle quickly to get away. It's moments like this that make you think about how scary it can be when a shark tries to go after you. Fortunately, the man was otherwise fine and managed to get out of the water without harm. In 2016, a man named Steve Backshall of BBC Earth went in search of the most feared predator on Earth, the great white shark. He traveled to a location off the coast of Cape Town in South Africa, which is teeming with sharks. In the area, the so-called Cape fur seal is on the white shark's menu. Steve and his team made a rubber fur seal so they could lure a shark to the surface and film and study it. They succeeded, and as you can see from the footage, a huge white shark jumps out of the water. These sharks can sometimes jump up to 3 meters high. It's estimated that the shark would have been an incredible 6 meters long. In 2015, Discovery Channel had captured another huge shark on camera, which may have been even bigger. The white shark was so gigantic that a news anchor was totally stunned and told them they wouldn't dare go back into the water after seeing this clip. At first glance, this seems like a massive oil spill, but when you zoom in and then zoom in further, you see something alarming. This photo was taken by NASA and was released to the public in August 2014. A person from the NASA team decided to analyze the satellite image when he suddenly appeared to see a gigantic shark measuring 69 feet or 21 meters long. The photo was supposedly taken by Sao Paulo, the largest city in Brazil, about 43.5 miles or 70 kilometers off the coast. Although there's been reports of shark sightings in the waters off the coast of Sao Paulo, people are skeptical about a shark of this size. In recent years, only a few shark attacks have been reported in Brazil. But maybe there could be something bigger and more vicious lurking in the waters. After all, the ocean is only 10% explored, so who knows what creatures are still swimming around today. Spearfishing is a method of catching fish using a fishing spear. However, what many divers do is that they decide to spearfish in waters where many sharks swim. As we can see in the video, there's no one around, nowhere to flee to, and a few seconds later, a huge tiger shark appears, making you panic. The man still remains fairly calm and composed, but things get creepier when the shark disappears out of nowhere into the murky water. A tiger shark is known for its aggressiveness and strength, so this was a pretty frightening moment. Fortunately, the shark simply swam away. Have you seen 47 Meters Down? A movie where the main characters are trapped in a cage while being stalked by a shark. These events also happen in real life. In fact, the huge shark in this video swam around and got stuck between the cage. Imagine how the diver must have felt when he saw the cruel jaws of the shark staring at him. Another thing that's pretty creepy is how fast the shark swims and how it changes direction. Even though the diver was in the cage, this must have been a terrifying moment when a great white shark comes at you at this speed. In this video, uploaded to YouTube in 2010, we see an experienced diver named Arvel Price who was diving with the colleagues in Guadalupe, Mexico. At one point, a huge shark comes into view and seems to show interest in the diving cage. The divers can't believe their eyes. Eventually, the shark comes back for a second time and even tries to take a bite out of the metal cage. This didn't quite work out, and the shark probably had enough and suddenly swims off again. In Australia, researchers were conducting a study on great white sharks, and they had tagged a 10-foot or 3-meter long shark to track its movements. However, 4 months later, the tracking device washed up on a beach, with data revealing a shocking story. The information recorded on the device showed a rapid temperature rise from 7.6 degrees Celsius to 25.5 degrees Celsius. Then the tracker indicated that the tagged shark took a sudden sharp dive to a greater depth. Researchers suggest that the shark might have been eaten by something much larger. Since then, it has raised many questions about what could have killed a great white shark of that size. Researchers concluded that the temperature measurements suggest that the shark had entered the digestive system of another animal, sparking speculation about the identity of the other predator. Some researchers think a megalodon ate the great white shark and took it to a greater depth. Sometimes even scarier than a tiger shark is a group of tiger sharks working together. This is how this brutal cycle, miraculously caught on camera, goes. They feed, swim away to give others a chance, and then return, leaving no survivors behind. There is even a hierarchy. While the leader eats, the others protect him until it's his turn. This encounter had a more than 16-foot or 5-meter long shark crashing head-on into the cage, allowing them to see a bite scar that likely came from a great white shark. This shows just how strong a tiger shark is. The Brazilian Coast Guard was reportedly on a rescue mission on November 20th, 2012, when they suddenly saw a giant shark swimming by. To this day, discussions are still going on about what exactly was captured on camera here. We can clearly see that the creature has shark-like shapes and looks gigantic. Several people say that this video is from a Discovery documentary and claim that it may be fake. However, the oceans are only 5% explored, so it's quite possible that giant sea monsters still exist. Some sources claim that if this was a real megalodon, it might have been 18 meters long. This here is one of the reasons why seasoned fishermen don't deep-sea fish in kayaks anymore. In the video, we can see a shark chasing a man in a kayak. The only thing between the man and the hungry shark is a small kayak. As you can imagine, it would be easy for a shark to topple the kayak with its sheer willpower. Fleeing or fighting becomes a lot harder when you're surrounded by water for miles. So the man decided to chase the shark away with his paddle. The shark kept coming back and didn't give up easily. Eventually, the man managed to chase the shark away, but this must have been a terrifying moment. In 2019, the TV network Global News uploaded a video of 2 shark researchers coming face to face with one of the largest sharks ever captured on camera. Ocean Ramsey, one of the individuals in the video, was diving with her fiancé near the small island of Oahu in Hawaii, when they suddenly encountered the enormous white shark. She says in an interview that white sharks should be protected and that people should not be afraid of them. Yet she does not recommend going into the water without any experience. She's an experienced diving instructor who offers activities to swim with the sharks without a cage. Would you dare to do this? Let me know in the comments. This video footage was recorded off the coast of South Africa on April 5th, 2013, when a group aboard a fishing boat had an encounter with a megalodon. According to the story, the megalodon had stalked them for a long time, attracted by the sound of the boat or their fishing activities. The megalodon came close to the boat and managed to grab one of their fishing lines. Then the roles of the hunter and prey quickly reversed. A few hours of rest on the boat was all that was granted before their lives were turned upside down. The man would have hooked the megalodon for a fraction of a second, but then the megalodon sank the boat and chaos ensued. Initially, a news reporter said that it was a whale that caused the boat to sink. Although certain events in this video are dramatized, others say it could have been a gigantic shark. When a team pulled an 11-foot or 3.3 meter long tiger shark out of the water in an attempt to tag and release it, the shark resisted so violently that it spit out its lunch. The shark didn't make much noise at first, but once it hit the deck, even its tail would have acted as one of the weapons in its arsenal. No one in their right mind would approach its jaws. I can't help feeling that things could have gone wrong quickly. Fortunately, the shark was only out of the water for 8 minutes. You have to be pretty brave to cage dive, knowing there could be several hungry sharks swimming around you. In this video, several people were cage diving when a large shark swam up to them and got stuck in the cage for a while. Surely this must have been a moment for the divers in the cage that made their hearts race. Fear aside, look how big and fearless these sharks are. No wonder they've survived all these millions of years. They even survived the dinosaurs. Would you like to go cage diving? Let me know in those comments. In this video from 2019, we see some people out kayaking. In recent years, fishing from a kayak is becoming more and more popular, and you can book this kind of thrilling activity if you dare to do this. As you can see in the video, one of the fishermen has a bite and trying to reel in the catch. After a long fight with the fish, they realize that they have a bull shark on the hook. The bull shark doesn't appreciate this and rams its nose into the kayak several times. The shark seems to be quite ferocious and is very strong. Fortunately, the fisherman can hold on to the kayak to prevent it from toppling over. After a while, the line finally lets go and the shark swims away. Imagine what the world would look like if there were still a whole bunch of aggressive, super large marine predators swimming in our oceans. How many people would be then hunting these fish? However, if the megalodon was still to exist, then a man named Vic Hislop would have caught one. On November 6, 1987, this Australian shark hunter made history by catching a huge white shark that was over 20 feet or 6.1 meters long. According to some people, this white shark could have been a baby megalodon. Vic caught this shark at Phillip Island in Victoria, Australia, and this achievement earned him a place in the Guinness World Records. However, the man was a controversial figure known for his aggressive approach to shark hunting. He called himself a shark hunter and made a name for himself by catching hundreds of sharks, including great whites. Despite the controversy surrounding his methods, his record catch attracted worldwide attention. In this video, we even see him catching a shark with his bare hands, which became an iconic achievement in the history of shark hunting. You hear all this stuff about how terrifying sharks are, but it might not dawn on you until you see one up close. In this video, we see one of the infamous sharks from Guadalupe Island in Mexico, and the efforts of a team to study their migration patterns. However, not much would have been studied had it not been for the railing between the shark's jaw and the rest of the crew. To use their own words, the closest would have been toast. It's videos like this that give you a dose of respect and considerable fear of wild animals. The tiger shark is considered one of the most dangerous sharks to humans. So there's also nothing more terrifying than a tiger shark swimming towards you. Unlike other shark species, which may retreat when they realize you're a human, tiger sharks keep going. They're also powerful enough to bite through skin and bone, and nothing will make you scream and swim to your boat more than a tiger shark that surely is intending to eat you. Fortunately, the man spearfishing in this video had a fishing spear in his hand to keep the tiger shark at bay. In 2017, the YouTube channel GoPro uploaded a video of a man named Johan Potgieter who was spearfishing off the coast of South Africa. Spearfishing is usually practiced while diving with a metal spear of around 50 centimeters, with which they try to catch fish. So Johan was fishing quietly when suddenly this happened. Just watch. He swims to the surface, warns his friend in the boat, and dives down again. A pretty scary moment if you ask me, but luckily everything was fine and he just reaches the boat. In August 2021, a team of scientists reported the discovery of a fossil of an ancient sperm whale in the coal mine of Victoria, Australia. The fossil was estimated to be over 25 million years old and showed evidence of a brutal attack by a giant shark. The fossil showed deep grooves and bite marks on the skull and jaw, indicating that the sperm whale had been attacked by a predator with teeth over 3.5 inches or 9 centimeters long. The scientists identified the creature and believe it was most likely a gigantic megalodon. The fossil of the ancient sperm whale is important because it provides evidence of the interactions between megalodons and their prey. It's believed that megalodons ate a variety of sea animals, including whales, dolphins, and seals. The discovery of the sperm whale fossil suggests that these sharks were even able to overpower the largest and most formidable of prey. The tooth fragment also provided valuable info about the size and anatomy of the megalodon. Its teeth were larger than a human hand, and a jaw that could open up 6.5 feet or 2 meters wide. Who knows? Sperm whales may still have battles with megalodons today. Do you believe this? Let me know in the comments. Think of the worst possible place in the ocean. Do you have an answer in your mind? How about when you're in the middle of a shark feeding frenzy? With the smell of blood and the promise of a meal, these sharks will tear up anything in their path. But not everything makes sharks go crazy. This moment happened at a reef in French Polynesia, when some groupers wanted to mate. Unfortunately, they attracted the attention of hundreds of hungry sharks. The following video is both fascinating and terrifying. The giant shark was filmed by a submarine at a depth of 1,000 feet off the northeast coast of Molokai, Hawaii. When people first saw this shark, they thought that this was a megalodon, but experts say this is a six-gill shark, also called the Hexanchus. This is a deep-sea shark of which there are 3 different species. However, experts don't know what kind of shark the one in the video was, but one thing's for sure, it's so big that even the researchers cannot believe it. It has not been determined if this is an adult or if it's still a youngster, but there were also those who claimed that this was a modern-day megalodon because of the size of the fish. Whatever it is exactly, to encounter this shark in a submarine must be terrifying, don't you think? Some Discovery Channel divers got a little panicked when dozens of aggressive sharks came swimming towards them. It seems that the more they panicked, the more the sharks were nearby. The sharks even got so close that the divers had to push them away. I suppose for the divers, this was one of the most terrifying moments of their lives. At one point, a shark even swam by looking big and pregnant. Would you be able to stay calm if there were dozens of hungry sharks swimming around you? In 2013, a German man named Michael Maher and his research team were looking for a great white shark off the coast island of Guadalupe in Mexico. When they went cage diving, the first day they found nothing, but the second day a huge female white shark came swimming by. They named it Deep Blue, and the shark was estimated to be an incredible 7 meters long. This is also one of the largest sharks ever captured on camera. According to the man himself, the shark was very calm and quietly swam around the cage. According to researchers, the shark might have been pregnant, and as you can see, Michael couldn't resist touching the beautiful animal for a moment. The next story is about an 85-foot or 26-meter-long ship that experienced engine problems near the Great Barrier Reef in Australia in the 1960s. According to the story, the men on board have observed an immense shark. An author named B.C. Cartmel wrote a book about it in 1978, called Let's Go Fossil Shark Tooth Hunting. Although the men on the ship did not publicly report their sighting for fear of not being believed, they later told friends about the sighting, describing the creature as whitish in color and longer than the boat. The story has led to speculation about what creature it might have been. Some researchers have suggested that the creature was a megalodon. Remember, the megalodon is not a myth, but a real shark, proven by countless fossilized teeth and bones found all over the world. The sighting of the shark off the coast of Australia underscores the mystery and fascination of the ocean. And who knows, maybe the story's true, and these men actually saw a megalodon in the water in 1960. In the 1970s, there was a headline titled, "The Most Horrific Shark Attack in South Africa's History." For decades, the waters around Hwate Bay were terrorized by the lurking threat of an elusive, almost mythical basking shark nicknamed the Submarine. In one of its attacks in 2014, it grabbed a tourist along with a buoy and disappeared before anyone could react. For a long time, people could not understand why sonar displays couldn't find the shark of this epic size, until some researchers finally managed to capture the basking shark on camera with a submarine. Not surprisingly, it was given the name Killer Shark. How big do you estimate the length of this shark in the video footage? Let me know in the comments. The man in this video was spearfishing when a giant tiger shark wanted to take his catch. As the diver swam to the surface, a shark came very close to him, wanting to steal the fish from his spear. The tiger shark is one of the most aggressive sharks around, so immediately the man pointed his fishing spear towards the shark. It must have been a pretty frightening moment for the diver, but as a spear fisherman, you know that moments like this can happen, and you have to stay calm. OceanX is a research team that specializes in exploring the deep oceans and discovering new species. In July 2019, they had managed to tag an animal for the first time ever from a submarine. They were exploring the depths of the ocean in the Bahamas when they suddenly spotted a huge snub-nosed shark swimming by. These sharks are very difficult to study because they don't need daylight. This isn't so much a scary moment, but we had to add it to the list. Especially the moment when the shark looks into the sub is very special. Imagine you're part of the Coast Guard and you're called to investigate something suspicious. Never in a million years would you expect to arrive at the scene of an incident and see a megalodon washed up on the beach. This incident reportedly took place on a South African beach on August 5, 2013. The shark, which was dramatically stranded far from its home, lies on its back on the beach. Thanks to a South African Coast Guard commander in a helicopter, the shark was captured on camera. The video shows two military trucks standing next to the shark, leading people to estimate that the shark could be as long as 100 feet or 30 meters. According to recent findings, megalodons have also been closer to the coast than we previously thought. If this video footage actually showed a beached megalodon, what did they do with the remains? Has the government hidden them? Or are they now being studied? We have no idea. Imagine you're out for a day of boating and suddenly find yourself in shark-infested waters. Then you realize that your boat is little match for the strength and determination of these hungry reef sharks. The sheer terror of a group of tourists is palpable as their guide feeds the shark and is shocked by one of the sharks jumping onto the boat. Although the tourists panicked, everyone stayed in the boat and the shark jumped back into the water. What would your reaction have been if the shark had jumped onto your boat? According to several reports, a megalodon is washed up on the beach of Long Island in Australia. People estimate the length of this shark to be between 8 and 12 meters. However, when authorities arrived in the area, the shark had suddenly disappeared. Perhaps the shark somehow managed to get into the water. But the strange thing is that to this day, no one knows what happened to the shark. Other people claim that this was not a megalodon, but a basking shark. These fish, like whales, are said to feed on plankton, but the shark is really gigantic, and the story that it just disappeared is very strange. Could this have been a megalodon after all? This has to be one of the most terrifying shark videos I could find on YouTube. It's blood-curdling how one moment you're staring at murky water, and the next a great white shark comes into view. This video was taken at New Brighton State Beach in California, USA. In this place, sharks are not an uncommon sight. Usually they act like curious animals, coming to sniff at you if you get too close. This shark, however, came a little too close, and just as quickly as it appeared, it leaves again. You can tell that the great white shark is the perfect predator for an ambush, especially in these waters. This video is from a Discovery Channel episode called Lair of the Mega Shark. Shark experts Jeff Kerr and Andy Casagrande are in a small inflatable boat and try to place a camera on the shark's fin. However, the shark swims up against the boat and tries to bite through the rope attached to the other boats. It looks nerve-wracking because the shark is also a lot bigger than the small rubber boat the two researchers are in. In the end, they were unsuccessful in attaching the camera to the shark, but it did produce these incredible images. David George Steed was a renowned ichthyologist in Australia who was highly respected for his contributions to marine biology. David was known for unmasking a sighting of a gigantic sea monster that could potentially have been the megalodon. He also has a reputation as the founder of the Wildlife Preservation Society of Australia, and so he was a very trustworthy person. In 1918, he heard of a story from a fisherman in Port Stephens in New South Wales about an encounter with a shark that was between 115 and 300 feet, or 35 and 92 meters long. David believed that this could possibly have been a living megalodon. The man's credibility gave weight to the possibility that megalodons, previously considered extinct, might still be living in the oceans. The story told by David becomes the basis for the claims of cryptozoologists that megalodons still exist. After a book was published recounting David's story, several reports of giant sharks were made in the Pacific Ocean in the 1920s and 1930s, which were subsequently associated with megalodons. When diving with sharks, the last thing you want is for the cage to break. In this case, the door is broken from the transparent cage, and the man is holding the door with his hand. This certainly has to be one of the scariest shark moments, as dozens of sharks circle around it. The diver even reported seeing shadows of even larger sharks lurking deeper. If one of the sharks had made only a small attempt to break into the cage, it would have easily succeeded. One smaller shark almost succeeded. It pushed its snout in before the diver reacted and pushed it away. In April of 2013, a man named Isaac Brumigan was kayak fishing by himself in the open sea. After a while, he finally caught a fish. He tries to bring in the fish and suddenly sees a shark jump out of the water that wants to snatch the fish right in front of him. Since the man was in a kayak, he reacts quickly and decides to cut the line and let the fish go. If he didn't do this, the shark might have knocked the kayak over, as it looked like it was in the mood for a tasty fish. If you ever hesitate to step into a shark cage, don't look at this next video footage. We see a diving cage that seems to have sunk deep into the ocean, and suddenly a shark swims by that appears to have a massive length. This raises the question of which extinct animal fits this description. The megalodon is considered one of the largest predators that has ever existed, and it's probably used different hunting strategies. The hunting methods can vary depending on the size and type of prey it was hunting. You'd better hope that this diving cage was quickly raised before the occupants could see the strategies with their own eyes. Unfortunately, we couldn't determine whether this is official video footage or whether it was created with digital animation. Maybe it's a movie, or maybe these people actually managed to capture a gigantic shark on camera. If the video footage was real, how big do you estimate the length of the shark? Few daredevils venture into the impossible feat of swimming in the Kauai Channel, which separates the islands of Oahu and Molokai. In all, it is 26 miles or 42 kilometers wide and takes 17 to 20 hours to swim it. A woman named Rainey Pierce tried, but during her trip, she encountered a tiger shark. After a few hours of swimming, during which she was accompanied by a team on a boat and a kayak, the kayak spotted a shark targeting her. It took the combined efforts of the kayak and the boat to protect the woman and get the woman onto the boat, ending her swim. Here we see an old photo from 1942, supposedly taken on December 18th in Cape Town, South Africa. This photo shows a gigantic fin near German U-boats. It's said that the photos have been discovered in old Nazi archives. A German U-boat would be about 65 meters. Experts estimated that the shark's fin to its tail is about 20 meters. So by putting these measurements together, they think that the shark should have been an incredible 30 meters long. This should mean that the megalodon was gigantic. Of course, many people were skeptical about the authenticity of the photo. According to some, the photo was edited, while others wondered why the photo did not come to light until years later. Google Earth is the ultimate tool to explore the world, and many people use it to discover places and things. This handy invention has captured some mysterious and unusual images over the years, including crop circles, ghost towns, and unexplainable geological formations. Someone was snooping around on Google Earth in 2017 and discovered a gigantic shark in the water. Although it may be possible to see large sea animals, such as whales on Google Earth, it's unlikely that you would encounter a megalodon. Some people say that this is probably fake, and a shark can never be that big. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. While diving near Pigeon Island in Papua New Guinea, two divers got the scare of their lives when a shark appeared out of nowhere. The divers were swimming at a depth of 187 feet, or 57 meters. Suddenly, the shark swam by and hit the head of one of the divers. The diver remembered seeing the super fast shark, but was unable to do anything at the time. Although he got a headache from the force of the blow, both divers were lucky that the shark lost interest. Some researchers were on the lookout for great white sharks in this video and studied their behavior. Although we should do our best to protect the species, we should never forget that sharks are unpredictable predators. This video is perfect proof that the great white shark is very intelligent and observant. The researchers from the research vessel were chasing a shark when the shark suddenly jumped out of the water. Incredibly, the shark was keeping up with the speed of the boat and found the perfect timing to jump out of the water, scaring the researcher. In this video, we see Coyote Peterson of the YouTube channel Brave Wilderness. You may have heard of him, as he makes a lot of educational videos about wildlife and is also definitely not afraid to meet them up close. In one of his videos, he visits a place known as Tiger Beach. Tiger Beach is located in the Bahamas, and here you would be able to swim with all kinds of fish, including the tiger shark, without a cage. However, tiger sharks can be dangerous and unpredictable, but generally pose no threat to divers. Still, Coyote got into a pretty scary situation. Have a look at this.
Yikes. That was close.
The Lord of the Deep is a sea creature shrouded in mystery and legend, said to inhabit the waters of Polynesia. Its existence, however, remains unproven, with few and rare sightings of this creature. The available reports, however, paint the picture of a huge alien beast that defies any explanation. One such sighting took place in 1918, when a huge white shark reportedly rammed into an Australian dock, leading some to speculate that this was the famous Lord of the Deep. Although legends describe the sea creature as being up to 10 feet, or 30 meters long, more recent sightings suggest that it might have been even bigger. It's said that the sea creature is green or yellow, with white spots, although the famous 1918 sighting described it as white. What makes the Lord of the Deep so intriguing is the belief that it could be a living megalodon. And not just any megalodon, but a megalodon that might have a genetic mutation. Running into a shark while paddle boating is probably the scariest thing that could happen. Here we see shark expert Chris Follows, who went paddleboarding to take a closer look at a great white shark off the coast of South Africa. He claimed that paddleboarding gave him a better view and a sturdy platform on which he could view the predators freely. Soon, a shark came to investigate him while he was still in the shallows. From shock and excitement, Follows almost lost his balance, but fortunately, he was otherwise fine. When I saw this following video of a giant shark, I had to add it to this list. The hosts of the Australian Today show were perplexed after seeing the video footage. Experts think that this is most likely a common great white shark, but some say this may be a baby megalodon. The marine researchers came in the news because they were working on new technologies to learn more about sharks. Unfortunately, I couldn't find exactly how big this shark was, but this proves that giant creatures still live in our oceans. The male host even claimed that he will never go into the water again after seeing this video footage. Of course, you can't blame him because this shark looked bigger than the average length of a great white shark. Some boys were cage diving somewhere in the ocean when one of the boys decided not to jump into the cage, but into the water next to it. This wasn't such a smart decision because a huge tiger shark came swimming towards him. Fortunately, the boy somehow had a birdcage in his hand to stop the shark. This bizarre moment was filmed by his friends and received millions of views. The boy was lucky to have a birdcage in his hand, otherwise the shark would have probably bitten him. In July of 2019, a family was fishing from a boat in Cape Cod Bay in Massachusetts, in the United States. Doug Nelson, the person in the video, caught a fish, and as they were about to reel it in, a shark jumped out of the water and snatched the fish right in front of him. In yet another video we found, a woman named Sarah is fishing with her family. After a while, she caught a fish, and then this happened. Take a look.
Oh, he's got no line. That wheel line.
In 1986, Frank Mundus and Donnie Broddick made headlines by catching a massive great white shark weighing 3,428 pounds, or 1,555 kilograms. The record catch took place off the coast between Montauk and Block Island. However, the capture of the shark was surrounded by controversy. Some claimed that Frank and Donnie had hit the shark with a harpoon instead of catching it with a rod. However, there are those who say that this shark was so large that it could possibly be a descendant of the megalodon. The size of the shark was suspiciously large for a regular shark, and it was no small feat to catch it. According to the story, they found the great white shark at the moment it was feeding on a dead whale. According to the men, they fought it for several hours before they were finally able to get it on board their boat. It's a diver's greatest fear when a shark gets stuck in the diving cage. After all, there's nowhere to go. The shark would have to somehow free itself or be distracted. In the waters of Guadalupe Island, such an incident occurred with a great white shark. It's pretty interesting when you think about it, that sharks would come close out of curiosity to sniff a foreign object. To the horror of this diver, he came face to face with the intimidating face of a shark. The following video footage is from the Shark Week documentary, in which a marine biologist investigates the life of sharks in the oceans and sees if the megalodon is still alive. Hundreds of underwater cameras were installed on the seafloor to map the ocean life. Some of the cameras were broadcast live, and people could watch in real time. At one point, something was captured on camera. At first glance, they saw something big swimming by, but didn't know what it was. When they looked back at the video footage, they saw a huge shark fin. After studying this, they concluded that the shark must have been an incredible 18 meters in size. Maybe not as popular as great white sharks, but spinning sharks are so called because of the spinning jumps they make while eating when they shoot out of the water. This man was having the time of his life while paddleboarding when a spinning shark chased him. And then he was startled when the shark pounced against his paddleboard, causing him to fall into the water. Pretty frightening moment, don't you think? In this video, we see some divers observing an old shark. This is said to have been filmed in an aquarium located in Dubai. The aquarium is located in a shopping mall, where they have a huge tank with the rays, sharks, and sea snakes. They also have a special tunnel where you can walk through to watch the fish. At one point, the shark in the video comes pretty close to the leg of one of the divers, but not much actually happens. Still, I would never want to be that close to a shark myself, because you never know what could happen. In this next video, we see at first glance what looks like a normal yet terrifying shark. A sight that would scare any swimmer is a fin sticking out of the water, but the fin in this video is no ordinary fin. If we were to see only the fin of a megalodon millions of years ago, it would probably look very similar to the fins of modern sharks. The dorsal fin of a megalodon would be high and triangular, with a distinctive shape that would make it immediately recognizable as a shark. If we are to believe the person who filmed this video footage, we are seeing a real megalodon swimming through the water here. The body of a megalodon would be streamlined and muscular, with a large, powerful tail that would propel it through the water at high speeds. A fin sticking out of the water is already pretty creepy, with a shark of an average length. But what about a megalodon fin? Could this video be proof that the megalodon still lives? The water is beautiful today, the woman said seconds before a shark began circling her. Her partner, a few feet away from the boat, calmly tells her to get out of the water. It's also terrifying how you can barely see the shark because it's almost invisible. The fact that they can get so close to you without being noticed and eventually disappear just as quickly is extremely terrifying. In this video, several Japanese researchers allegedly put bait on the bottom of the Marianas Trench to see what came up. At first, only some larger fish came to it, but then, suddenly, a giant shark comes into view. Based on its size, the researchers estimated that the creature was 15 meters long. Could this be the proof that the megalodon still exists? Some people were convinced, while others said that this was a Pacific sleeper shark. Although this shark is normally 4 to 6 meters long, the shark in this video is a lot bigger. This shark is also said to live at depths of 2,000 meters. Who knows? Maybe a megalodon is also hiding at these depths. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. The next time you decide to go parasailing, you might want to reconsider the shark-infested waters you find yourself in. One such incident was filmed in Aqaba, Jordan, in the Red Sea. A man who was parasailing didn't even see the shark, and also had the misfortune of the shark trying to take a bite out of him. The man survived, but narrowly. This will definitely make you think again when you should parasail in waters where sharks are. Here we see a group of German tourists who are watching seals near Mosul Bay in South Africa, when suddenly a great white shark came swimming towards them. The German tourists had no idea what hit them, and the shark suddenly started biting their rubber boat. According to the man giving the boat tour, the shark had probably mistaken the boat for a dead whale. However, they were still able to sail on, but it cost them $2,000 to repair that boat. Imagine this. You're on a boat in the middle of the night. You hear a deafening splash. You look up and see the body of a whale rising in the air. Before it falls down again, you see the jaws of a gigantic shark. But I see you thinking, what exactly happened here? When a whale comes to the surface to breathe, it becomes a vulnerable target for a predator like a megalodon. While the whale is coming up, the megalodon would likely be lurking underwater, waiting for the right moment to strike. As the megalodon reached the water's surface, it would have opened its massive jaws and clamped down on the body of the whale. And the whale would probably have been powerless to defend itself against this enormous predator. Could it be true that this video shows the moment of a megalodon grabbing a whale out of the water? What do you think? The diver will forever remember how close his head got to the mouth of a great white shark. Everyone knows by now that sharks are alarmingly intelligent. This shark approached with the intention of viewing potential prey. The shark's so-called punch was calculated, but it was out of curiosity. The diver was certainly lucky that the shark did not try to bite him. If you haven't heard about deep blue, I'm gonna tell you now. Deep blue is the largest white shark ever captured on camera. The shark is said to be 7 meters long and was first seen by a researcher named Marico Hoyos Padilla in Mexico. Deep Blue became very popular and was featured on Discovery Channel's Shark Week. The shark has a scrape on its right side that makes researchers recognize it quickly. Despite the frightening stories you might have heard about sharks, Deep Blue is very calm. What is perhaps even more fascinating is that some people think she's not an ordinary shark, but rather a baby megalodon. A surfer named Mick Fanning was pulled underwater by a great white shark during the finals of the J-Bay Open in South Africa. He later described the incident by saying, at first he only felt something stuck in his leg cord, but then he saw the fins and the sharp teeth of the shark. Incredibly, this moment was captured on live TV. Fortunately, Mick managed to fend off the shark and eventually escaped. In this video, uploaded by ABC News in 2016, we see a great white shark swimming around a cage. The shark seems to be curious, and at one point it gets really close. Craig Capehart, the man who filmed everything, could not believe it, and suddenly found himself face to face with a huge shark. The shark decided to swim into the cage, but luckily also left quite quickly. The following story tells about a father and son who were pursued by megalodons in the early 1900s. There's also been reports of massive sharks in the southern and northern parts of the Pacific Ocean, as well as in the Caribbean Sea, believed to be related to the megalodon. One of the most well-known sightings of these gigantic sharks was described by Zane Grey in his book Tales of Tahitian Waters. According to Zane, while sailing near the French Polynesian island of Angora in 1927 or 1928, he encountered a huge shark that he couldn't identify. The shark was longer than his boat and had a squared head, with very large pectoral fins and a green-yellow body with white spots. Zane's son Lauren also claimed to have seen the huge shark when he accompanied his father. Lauren described the shark as at least 40 to 50 feet, or 12 to 15 meters long. He was sure that the sea creature wasn't a whale shark, and claimed that its appearance was preceded by abnormal behavior of birds above the water's surface. Do you believe that the megalodon is still alive today? Let us know in those comments. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos we've made, click one on the screen or take a look at the channel. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.